Hey guys, and welcome back to another FM22 Transfer Guide with me, Raxel FM, where today we are going over 3 signings and 3 sales for Bayern Munich, a side that have dominated the Bundesliga for many years, and we can make sure they continue to do that for plenty of years in the future by making some intelligent signings and intelligent sales in this video. If that sounds like something you guys would be interested in, please make sure you do smash the like button, as well as subscribing to the Raxel FM YouTube channel so you don't miss the daily Football Manager content coming with this and a Let's Play series at every single point in time throughout the entire FM year. In terms of what they want you to do here at Bayern Munich, of course they have high expectations for you, so we're going to go straight down to winning the Bundesliga, reaching the semi-final of the Champions Cup, and they want you to, they don't care about anything else, so at least they're being nice about that. But in terms of your philosophy, they want you to sign high reputation players, sign players based in Germany, so that doesn't necessarily mean German players, although that does come down a bit later on. Under 23s for the first team, they want you to play attacking football, entertaining football, develop players using the youth system, sign players under the age of 19 for the future, sign rival players from domestic clubs, as well as playing possession football, maintain the best youth system in the world, maintain the club's most reputable system reputation thing in Germany, as well as working within the wage budget. So they basically just want you to be an insane football club for a seriously long period of time, and I think that that's fair enough. They're a very good club at the moment, and they do actually give you the financial backing, I would say, to do a decent job of that. You know, in Football Manager this year, you don't have a lot of 10 million plus sort of region, so 25 is certainly a decent amount, and there's some dead weight in this squad to be able to get rid of, although it is a pretty small team, and I don't normally actually take a look at the squad and actually highlight it, but there's just not that many players, unfortunately, so we do have to be very careful with the players we are signing, the players that we are selling, because we're about to get rid of 3 of them. So let's go out and let's be very particular with who we're selling. The first player that we're selling is a man who's already decided that he wants to leave the football club. It is Tolisso, a player that didn't end up being quite the signing that this Bayern Munich team wanted. £36 million, had a decent few years with the club, but never turning into the absolutely world-class player we all thought he might end up being. And he does want to leave the club at the end of this season. So no matter what you do, he's not going to be negotiating with you. So, of course, I'm going to try and bank in on him. Why when you click that, does it get you out of the screen? Obviously, I just want to go back to where... No, sorry, I'm just venting. On the reasons why we should be getting rid of him, he's also not a starter for us. Although we don't have a huge amount of options in the central midfield spot, I think we do just have enough cover with players coming through the ranks, even like Kusint, who's over in the youth team, if we take a look at him and actually compare him with Tolisso, we can see that although Tolisso is definitely the better of the 2 players, Kusint wants to be here, and he's also at a decent age where he can improve at this point in time, and not hugely far away from Tolisso's ability, so calling him up is a great option. But back onto Tolisso, the reason why you are getting rid of him is, of course, just because he's going to be leaving the club on a free, so you may as well cash in on him right now. There's another player that often does end up leaving on a free. This time I did actually want to go back to the tactics screen, and that is Sule. But at this current point in time, he is more than willing to negotiate a contract with you. So my recommendation straight off the bat, get this man back and signed a contract, because he does want to leave the club if you don't do it immediately. However, Tolisso, he's already made his mind up. I think it's time to sell the man. In the save, he's gone to Zenit, which is a bit unfortunate for his career, and he's only a squad player, and we only got £4.5 million for him. We did end up getting bids early on for about £8 million, but he rejected the offers, so I needed to sell him to Zenit. But you could definitely get more money for him, but still £5 million or thereabouts is not a terrible fee for a man that, of course, as I said, is going to be leaving on a free at the end of the year, and not even one of the best rotation options in your club. So cash in on Tolisso, I think, is a very good decision. The next player I'm selling is a bit more of an obvious one, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, a man that I don't think anyone has any idea how he's managed to get into the Bayern team, but to be fair, he's actually not done terribly, scoring a couple of clutch goals in the Champions League. I can't remember if that was for PSG or not, but for one of the teams, he's actually been okay. How we got to PSG as well? Like, He's seriously swindled his way into some decent squads and swindled his way into getting a pretty decent wage of £56,000. But he's definitely not good enough for our squad. You've got players like Kingsley Coman, who isn't even going to be starting for you, and he is miles ahead of Choupo-Moting. So I think it's time to get rid of him. And for £2.9 million, it's not a lot of money. That's just nice to get him off the books and get a wee bit of wage back into you. And I'm pretty certain you can get a wee bit more than that fee. I sold him in his save for £5 million, and I think that I had about 5 clubs willing to pay that amount for him. So you could maybe even go a bit higher, but he's gone to Wolfsburg, where he's already scored a goal and gotten an assist. So clearly not a terrible signing for them, but not a great player for us. And I'm more than happy to get him off the wage bill, get him out into a different club, and bring that cash back into our account to reinvest in younger, more promising, and just generally better players. The final player that I'm selling is, I'd say, the most obvious. He's just not up to the quality of Bayern Munich. It's Buna Sa. I don't know where the D came in there, but I'm ashamed that I've said that on camera. Buna Sa is going to be leaving the club, unfortunately, after coming in for just £7 million. Not been the best signing, and not generally the best player. I think there's a reason he's already on the first team transfer list and considered to be a second team regular at 29 years of age. He's just not got the ability, and even a man like Benjamin Pavard, who's not going to be starting at right back for us, already has quite a bit more ability and maybe a wee bit less technically and speed wise, but I would definitely take all those other stats in comparison. So I think it's time for this man to end his Bayern Munich career, his short Bayern Munich career, and we're going to go sell him. He's managed to stay in Germany, and we sold him for £2.5 million, which again is not a terrible fee, and that does add to the amount that we got for the other players. So we've got about, I don't know, 2.5 plus 4.5 is 7, and then plus 4, no, it was 5. Was it 5? Yeah, it was 5. That's 12. We added 12. So we now have £37 million to spend. I swear half of these videos are just me doing maths. Like, at the end of this, I'm always just like, carry the 2, you know, like whole situation going on. I should just, you know, get a calculator out and prepare. But for now, we've sold Sa, we've sold all of our players, and we need to focus on signing some players. But let's identify the positions that we need to improve upon before we make those signings. With all those deals done, our team is still looking, of course, very strong. We got rid of some pretty weak players, no offense. And you've got some options in there, like you could put Sabitzer over at CDM and have Kimmich at right back instead of starting Pavard. I like the options that you do have. Some strong players in there as well. You've got Müller, who could be swapped out for Musiala if you want to go for a more youthful approach. Plenty of decent players, as I've said multiple times here. But it is a bit of a small squad, and you don't have as much depth as perhaps you would like. Starting with the striker position, Lewandowski is your only real striker that you can play up top. Müller can do a job, but even he is getting a bit older too. So a young striker, I think, would be an absolutely world-class signing for the squad. I think that's immediately something that needs to be done. In terms of left wing, right wing, and Cam, you're sorted with Müller and Musiala. That's a youngster and a quality starter for now. On the right wing, you've got Sane, Gnabry, Coman, as well as Musiala, who can play out there. The exact same on the other side. So I would say they're not huge priorities. Could be nice to get an option out there, but not crucial by any stretch of the imagination. In central midfield, you've got Kimmich and you've got Goretzka, who will be absolutely world-class for you, as well as Sabitzer as a backup option, and maybe you could call up another player like Kusins or Rocker or even Nianzou, who can do a decent job there. But when you actually look at the right back position, this is where it gets a bit more interesting, because I would say Kimmich needs to be that right back because we don't have the options out there. So you need to, at a minimum, sign a right back or a central midfielder. Depending on what players come up is dependent on what you will be signing, because if you don't sign a right back, Kimmich needs to start at right back. But if you don't sign a central midfielder, you need to sign a right back. You get what I'm saying here? You need to pick one or the other. In terms of centre back, you've got options in terms of Sule, who might be leaving the club if you don't make that contract offer straight away, as well as Upamecano, Hernandez, and Pavard. Straight off the bat, you can see there's not the most insane amount of quality there, but it's not the weakest position in our entire squad. So it's okay for now. With Sule and Upamecano being your two starters, you should be okay for a decent period of time in this save. Maybe a world-class one wouldn't be the worst thing ever, but do we really have the cash for that right now? I'm not so sure. And left-back Davies and Hernandez are going to be fine for you, and in goalkeeper, Neuer and his backup is going to be absolutely fine as well. So going over that again, you got to get a young striker in there. You could get a central midfielder or a right-back. A centre-back might be okay, or a right wing, or a left winger might be okay as well. Let's jump into the signings finally. Let's bring some players in and let's spend this £37 million. Is that what I just said? I think it's about £37 million. The first player that I've bought in is Julian Weigl. He is a German man who of course ticks that box in the club vision, who has plenty of ability currently, 25 years of age, can get better in the future, and he's that central midfield option that we desperately needed. So now you can play Kimmich in the right back position. And the best thing about this man is he's worth 42 to 52 million pounds, but you can bring him in for 15 million pounds. Could eventually rise to about 30 million pounds, but if you don't like him, sell him before he reaches 50 league appearances and you can get some serious profit on this man. But he's already an elite midfielder with great stats in there. The thing that I like about him most is that he's a very defensive minded player. And if you compare him to Sabitzer, which is the main issue I had with that man, is that he's just not that defensively minded. He is okay at defending, don't get me wrong, and is a decent option in that central midfield. But next to players like your Goretzkas, your Mullers with Sane and Gnabry, you need to have a slightly more defensive minded player, and Weigl does completely suit that role right there. He can play centre back if you desperately need him to as well. Got a bit of versatility in there and a little bit of room to improve at 25 years of age. So I think for £15 million, you cannot get any better for Bayern Munich than buying Julian Weigl. The next signing sorts out our young striker that we desperately needed. It is Karim Adeyemi, and he's just a cheat code for me at this point. Every time I need a young striker, I sign this man because you can get him in for £8.5 million with a potential fee of £17 million. Even that is an absolute bargain for a man that is already a wonder kid, got 5-star potential ability. He is going to be perfect out in that striker position, can even play on the wing. Just like I said, we could use a player out there, and he's just a great option. Already a decent squad rotation player for you, and when Lewandowski starts to get a bit worse, he is going to be able to take the reins straight away. German as well, young, very cheap signing. You gotta sign him. And the last player we've bought in is Jurrien Timber. He comes in for just £23 million. Again, could rise to 47. I love the could rises, but that's how you make the good deals in this year's Football Manager. And I love what he brings to the table. He can play in CDM, centre back, right back, or right wing back, even left back if you need him to do a job out there. So he now gives you an abundance of options in your team. At 20 years of age, he's got plenty of room to improve, just like Adeyemi. He's a wonder kid. And he now means that in your squad, you can do just about whatever you want. If you quick pick your best 11, it does suggest putting Kimmich in there. But if you don't like Weigl, you can chuck Weigl at right back, not actually, and put Timber out there, who you want to improve for the future. Maybe you don't want Upamecano playing so much, so you put Timber in there, and you can move Kimmich back into the right back position and put Weigl back in there. The world is your oyster, boys and girls. These signings give you plenty of options in there as well to make your team as good as you possibly can get it, to get some youngsters in and around the squad. If you want to just go straight up youngster all the way through your team, put Adeyemi up top, put Musiala in cam, and put sorry, I didn't put Musiala in cam, and put Upamecano next to Timber in defence, and you have a stacked young 11. But it's up to you to decide what you want to do. Do not put Lewandowski out for Adeyemi. I'd just like to say that straight off the bat. I do not condone those actions. I would not suggest those actions. But now I think we have made very good transfers with the small budget that we do have. And we still have a tiny bit left over. Not a lot, but enough to maybe make a free signing or two. And you still have a couple of players that you might want to get rid of. Maybe want to bring in as well. As I said before, it is a bit of a bare bones squad. But it is a strong bare bones squad, which is the important thing. And I think we have strengthened it even more with those signings and sales. But this is where we're ending today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to smash the like button if you have enjoyed it, as well as subscribing to the Raxo FM YouTube channel so you don't miss the daily Football Manager content coming your way. And I'll see you all later.